Hello. Today I'd like to talk about making the disability tax credit accessible for all, gaps in current uptake. The disability tax credit serves not just as a non-refundable tax credit, but as a gateway to many governmental benefits, such as the Registered Disability Savings Plan and the Child Disability Benefit. The tax credit and benefits work to help persons with disabilities with the extra costs and barriers they face. Access to these programs rely on receiving a disability certificate from the Canada Revenue Agency. The significance of the certificate makes it important to look at the factors that may stop persons with disabilities or their families from completing the application process. We will now look at some of these factors. First, a quick overview of the disability tax credit. The DTC can reduce income taxes for some people, and if it does not, the credit can often be transferred to a supporting family member. In all cases, it unlocks other disability supports. That's why completing the DTC application is important. However, multiple steps must be completed when applying. An individual must be aware of the certificate, be eligible, complete the application, and obtain documentation from a medical practitioner. The application is submitted, reviewed, and either accepted or denied, with an opportunity for an appeal. Once these steps are completed, the DTC certificate is issued, and individuals may use that certificate to receive other governmental supports. All these steps introduce obstacles where the applications may not be completed. Who applies and who does not? Eligibility is functional, not diagnosis-based. There's a common misperception. My condition is episodic or not severe, so I must not qualify. This is borne out by our analysis. 5% with less severe disabilities apply, compared to 33% with more severe disabilities. Even after receiving the certificate, those with less severe disabilities are less likely to receive the disability tax credit. In fact, DTC eligibility is based on functional effects in daily life, not diagnosis by a doctor. The Canada Revenue Agency has made progress in improving the application process to emphasize this. Steps to further this progress include 1. Encourage all persons with disabilities to apply, regardless of frequency or severity of disability. 2. Equip clinicians with plain language checklists to minimize the burden of filling out applications. And 3. Ensure feedback from the Canada Revenue Agency is clear and assists individuals in applying, instead of serving as a roadblock. Where you live matters. Application rates for the disability certificate surprisingly vary widely by province. In the Maritimes, about 20% of persons with disabilities apply. Manitoba leads the nation with 23%. On the other hand, Quebec sits around 10%, and the territories only have 7% of people with disabilities applying. What does that imply? We should 1. Align federal and provincial messaging so only one pathway is needed to receive programs. 2. Partner with community organizations across Canada to run DTC Navigator programs. And 3. Proactively outreach persons with disabilities through provincial programs and medical interactions to let them know they're eligible to apply. What are other characteristics of populations which get left behind in applying? We see sociodemographic gaps. Females, middle-aged individuals, immigrants, visible minorities, and those with higher employment income are less likely to apply for the disability certificate. In addition, visible minorities, those not completing high school, and those with lower incomes are less likely to claim the disability tax credit. What are some areas that can be improved? 1. Targeted outreach. Persons with disabilities and the populations above should not be facing systemic barriers to applying for and receiving benefits. And 2. Plain language emphasis on application criteria, such as functional eligibility. In closing, what are some of the things you can do to improve accessibility of these certificates and supports? First, apply. The more individuals with disabilities that apply, the more awareness there is about obstacles and applications. Eligibility is the primary criteria. 2. Ask for help. Clinicians, disability navigators, and social agencies can assist in accurately completing the application process. And 3. Advocate for alignment. Federal and provincial systems should be unified with reduced barriers to application. No barrier should be presented to access by the factors mentioned here. With better awareness, simpler processes, and stronger partnerships, we can make sure the DTC and the benefits it unlocks reach the people they're meant for. Thank you.